What's up YouTube? Today I've got a little tricks and tips video for you guys, and it is on the market. So as you guys know, and a lot of you have been asking me, oh, how do you have so much money? You're so lucky about having all this money in the game. And I just wanted to clarify that really this much isn't really that much in this current day. And yet the best way to get money and make money is by playing the market. And when I say playing the market, what I mean is, in a very basic sense of it, buying and selling so that when you buy something, you buy it for cheaper than when you sell it. And for you guys today, as the first tip and trick, I've got for you the most basic means of doing this. This has to be one of the easiest, but also it's quite time consuming. But once you get a handle of this, you can make 500 Clintz, you can make 1,000 Clintz, no problem, easily. Now, what this whole trick really, it's not really a trick, it's just a method people use. What it depends on is things like this. As you saw, I just refreshed the page into this page, and you can see that Coralie is actually selling for 218 Clintz here, when the next price is 432. So if I bought her for 218, I could resell her for 430 and make a profit. Now you have to remember, one of the key things about this method is that there is a Kate tax. And by that, you know what I mean. When you sell a card, Kate takes 5 to 10% of whatever you made, which means that if you say you saw something like this, where you have Janine for 220 and her next price for 244. So of course, if you do buy the 220, you can sell it for 240 and make 20 Clintz profit, right? No, because there is a Kate tax, which reduces the amount that you get from the amount that you sold it for. This means that it is very difficult to sort of find ways of using this method, but there have been extreme cases of this method. I've heard stories, and I have done this before, where I was simply refreshing the page, somewhere around the 20k mark, and I was just refreshing the page, I was just checking around, when I saw a tan man. This was 3-4 years ago. I saw a tan man selling for 20k when he was about 30, maybe 40k, so I bought him. And this tan man is still in my collection today. And that 20k tan man went on to be 268k tan man. This sort of shows you the dynamic of the market today. So if you do, it does really depend on how much money you have. So for a player like me who has 500k plus, I would suggest if you're going to snipe, stay roughly around the 20k margin, 20k to 30k margin, just stay roughly there. If you have, let's say, between 500k and 250k, then stay between the 15k to 20k margin. Just stay between those and just snipe the occasional card. While this doesn't provide a steady income, it provides you with a short burst of income. For example, Another great tip is to invest in cards, and that provides you with a steady income, but over a long period of time. For example, some players invest in a card, and when the card rises, as you can see Michael here has rised 5% or Striker 7%. So if you originally bought him at 29k, he's now 32k, so you've made a profit. This is known as a steady income, because this income is continuous. Whereas the snipe method, it provides you with a short burst. So you would have bought one striker for 29k and sold that same striker for 32k, just that one time. Of course, if you do snipe and you find 3 or 4 that are below priced, then buy all 3 or 4 of them and then resell them on the market. The trouble with this method, the risk with this method, is that occasionally you do find instances when people will undercut you. And once you've been undercut enough times, you've lost money. For example, one time I was buying Dithia. Dithia is a Pussycat card. Great card. She's very good because of her ability. So I thought this card is going to get me a good profit. So I bought 5 of her for roughly around, I think it must have been like 7k. I bought 3 or 4 of her, all not XP, and I stored her away into my savings archive. That's what I like to call it. And then when her price rose to 8k, I thought, okay, let's just sell her now and make a nice, cool profit. But then someone undercut me and sold theirs for 6k. Now, the only way I could have profited was if I had bought those 6k Dithyas and then sold them again for 8k. But this isn't cost effective because those Dithyas, they weren't 0 XP. That's another big thing about this method. If you see a 5-star card, which is maxed, the card has to be a lot below the amount of Clintz that it's worth. For example, if you saw a Dithya, and let's say her normal price is 4,200k, Clintz, that's her starting point, and someone puts one for 4,000. If that's a max card, then you can buy her, but there's a risk that people will undercut you. But if she's 0 XP, you can buy that card and then sell it for slightly over the asking price of 4,300. To give you a good example of this, if Dithya, let's say a 0 XP Dithya was selling for 4k, when her asking price, as you can see here, is 4.3k. Now, if I bought that 0 XP Dithya, I would then sell it for 4.4k. Now, this is above the lowest market price, but the thing is, because it's 0 XP, it is worth more. Because all 0 XP cards are worth more than max cards, as a general rule of thumb in the market. So people would buy her, even if it is more expensive to buy her than a max one, because of collectors will invest in 0 XP before they invest in max cards. So when you are sniping, you need to remember all of these points, and remember that it's very important. As you can see here, right there, Meg, you can see a 0 XP one selling for 4.9, while a max one is selling for 4.89. While these are very similar, that's pretty much, there's a 2 Clintz difference, when there should be a much higher difference. So buying her would be an investment. Buying her would be useful. As you can see, the next 0 XP one is 5.4k. So you can buy this and sell it for 5.2 and make a profit. And people will buy it because it's a 0 XP down the line. So you can see that, of course, there is a variation in that a card that is more sought after will sell quicker and for more than, say, Louise. For example, if I got a 0 XP Louise and I tried to sell it for, let's say, 13k, then it would take more time for that card to sell than it would take for a Charlie who was 0 XP, even if I posted her for 65k. In that sense, it's important to remember the dichotomy between 0 XP and the price that you're sniping for. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tips and trick video, and remember that sniping, while it is a quick, well, it's quick in the sense that you get the profit immediately, but it is time consuming in the fact that you have to keep searching for these snipes. Just remember that while it is a nice, easy and simple method, there are always risks in such method, so don't take my word for gospel truth. While I have showed you one aspect of sniping, there can be various instances where sniping isn't ineffective. So with that in mind, I hope you guys enjoyed this tips and tricks video. If you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, yeah, if you'd like me to show you any more tips and tricks, please do comment. And as always, stay classy.